my joy and my passion and a lot of my payment is seeing other people experience this.
We've bass fished all over the country. You don't generally get 14ers in the background of your bass fishing.
I have no intention to catch a fish, so I'm not fishing. I'm fly casting.
If you can't heckle each other and laugh a lot fishing, something's wrong with you. This isn't rocket science. This is a way to blow off steam and have a lot of fun.
Welcome to Catching Colorado. I'm Reno Boyd, joined by the Peyton Manning of fishing here in Colorado and Fishful Thinker TV host Chad LaChance. Chad, thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. You know, we're very lucky to get to do what we do, and teaching people to fish is my thing.
For the next half hour, we're going to talk about all the different kinds of fishing in Colorado. But first, let's just get into your TV show a little bit. You host a fishing show. How'd you get into that?
I love educating anglers. I want more people out fishing, and education, you know, mainstream media is the easy way to do it. So Fishful Thinker Television is all about diversity and education in public waters.
In that show, you cover all the different kinds of fishing in Colorado, right?
Yeah, absolutely. From ice fishing and fly fishing to conventional tackle fishing, you know, all of the above. But this is Colorado, most known for its fly fishing. We do plenty of that too.
Speaking of fly fishing, Chad, there's obviously plenty of opportunities with all of the rivers, and there is one company in particular that is trying to encourage people to get out there a little bit more. Let's take a look.
For as long as I can remember, I've always fished. There's a number of great cities that you can live in, but you know, here in Colorado, in the Front Range of Colorado, we are blessed to have nature at our doorstep, to have the wilderness at our doorstep. And we have amazing opportunity to go out and mountain bike and fish and raft and ski, you know, half an hour from town. I mean, that is our greatest asset here in Colorado. And so if you're not taking part in that, if you're not at least tasting that and experiencing that, you're selling yourself short. You're missing out. As far as I know, Ascent Fly Fishing is the only biologist-owned and operated fly shop in the world. What we're doing is answering the age-old question of every angler, from the caveman, the Neanderthal, to the modern angler. We've all been asking, what are they biting on? Ascent Fly Fishing, the Fly Fishing Rendezvous, River Oracle, is really the epitome of grassroots, grinding it out, startup garage story. We looked at these larger corporate fly fishing and sporting shows, and there was no way that we could afford a booth at one of these events. So me and 9 other startups, including Colorado Trout Unlimited, got together and we said, hey, let's start our own show. We'll focus on conservation, focus on education and what's happening here locally, and see if anyone shows up. So we rented a 40 by 40 foot room at a rec center, put out a newsletter to our followers, and 4 weeks later, 200 people showed up to crowd this 40 by 40 foot room. And that was the birth of the Fly Fishing Rendezvous back in the fall of 2014. Each year we've added new vendors, multiplied the classes, and here we are 3 years later in 5 events. Now we're in 10,000 square feet. We had 50 Rocky Mountain fly fishing companies with us and 1,600 local anglers there, learning, participating, and gaining a deeper understanding of fly fishing and a passion for the sport. I mean, this is the chance for young startup companies to have full visibility next to national fly fishing companies, but also for first-time anglers or people just with questions about the sport to get face time with the region's pros, the men and women who have written the books on our waters or spend 200 days a year guiding on our waters. I mean, to be able to stand with someone and look at their fly box and them to tell us, this is where I'm fishing, and I can tell them these are the flies that are going to be effective in working and matching the hatches when you're on that water and filling those holes, and to help bridge that gap of knowledge and unlock that water for them. I mean, it's a great privilege, and yeah, I think people appreciate that openness and honesty.
All right, you're all set. Thank you. Thank you.
So I get the opportunity to teach fly fishing classes not just around the Rockies, but around the U.S. Trout are very savvy investors. They are looking to gain more calories than they're expending. Our Mayflies and microbrews, which we also call an introduction to the science of fly fishing, is a class that we've been doing for about 4 years, where we'll find a neutral location, a relaxed location, like a brewery or a bar, where we'll sit in the back room, have dinner, and over beers or Cokes, talk about what's going on in the river and how to apply that to the sport of fly fishing. I'll break down the science of the river, entomology. This is a definitive menu of the sizes, the profiles, the colors, the life cycles that the trout are seeing, reading in the water to determine where the fish are.
Felt like I was back in college.
Being able to interpret how fish are feeding in the water column to which fly in our box they're feeding on.
It gives me a very new insight on education, because people, when they learn new stuff, they want to be in a comfortable environment, and I think this fits the bill very nicely.
And we'll take all the geeky science stuff and break it all down to something that you can tie on the end of your rod and start catching fish. I've met very few fly fishers that don't enjoy microbrews, so it seems like a pretty natural relationship to me. One of the most popular classes that we do is our Streamside entomology seminar. There's our first terrestrial. You can keep your eyes open. These classes are attended by both first-time anglers.
This is the first time I've had waders and boots on.
You know, even now I'm like, oh, here's a crawly brown one.
And those that have been fishing for 40 years.
It completely opens up a whole new world for me as a fly fisherman to see that there's a lot more to think about on my way from the car to the river.
So here we have the damsel nymphs. So we'll spend 2 hours as a class together going through the life cycles. Then together we'll take 3 hours delving into the river together, sampling bugs under the water, on top of the water, and how do we read these pieces and choose the best flies to fish that lake, and then what they look like in our fly box.
Sometimes they hang on pretty aggressively to the weeds.
This is reminding me of my childhood when I was 5-6 years old in the backyard and in the fields behind my house.
What I learned was the general rule, as long as you match the fly closest to what you're seeing out here, you're good to go, and then you just go out and have fun.
My mentality and the way that I approach the sport, and everyone that comes into my shop is, welcome to Colorado, here's your fly fishing, these are the flies that are working, here's a map, go right here, tie these on, and you're gonna have a great day. We're ready to shake things up, and we realize that this is different. It might take a little time to catch on, but this is the future of fly fishing, and not just fly fishing, this is the future of outdoor sports.
Chad, as a fishing educator yourself, what did you take away from that?
Well, I think it's great that they're simplifying, choosing your fly as simple as the color, the profile, and the size, and that's really what it comes down to. I don't have to name the bug, I only need to know what he looks like.
All right, well, summer fishing is winding down, and coming up on Catching Colorado, we'll take you to another style of fishing on the ice.